All right, let's just jump right into it. Now, if you're a founder, you totally know this feeling, right? You pour your heart and soul into an idea, it finally starts to work, and boom, the copycats show up. So today, we're going to unpack a patent strategy that's a little different. It doesn't just defend your work, it's actually designed to stop those copycats cold, right in their tracks. So, let's kick things off with a pretty tough question. You've got this patent, and you think of it as this big, strong shield, right? Protecting your invention. But what if it's not? What if it's actually a roadmap? And I mean, what if you've accidentally handed your competitors the exact instructions on how to rip you off without ever getting caught? And here's the really painful truth of it all. Copycats, they don't care about your idea when it's just a dream on a whiteboard. Nope. They show up the second it starts working. That magic moment you hit product market fit. Their whole game is to ride your wave, copy just enough to look like you, but change just one little thing to slip right past your patent. So what's our first instinct as founders? It's totally natural, right? We try to build this giant shield. We write this massive, all-encompassing patent claim that tries to cover every single feature, every possible variation. And yeah, it feels safe, it feels powerful, but here's the kicker. That giant shield, it's surprisingly easy to break. Yeah, and this right here is the core myth we've got to bust. A big, broad patent claim, it looks super impressive on paper, but the patent system doesn't reward big, it rewards precise. See, when you try to protect everything, you end up creating all these tiny little cracks in your armor. And a copycat, they only need to find one of them to slip right through. So how do they actually do it? How do they break that shield? Honestly, it's shockingly simple. They take a look at your big 10-part claim. They scan it, looking for just one little piece that's kind of optional, something that isn't absolutely essential, and then they just take it out or tweak it a little, and that's it. That's the whole trick. By changing that one tiny thing, they're instantly free from infringement. They found the one weak link in your chain. And that is the central, devastating problem. Your shield, it just became a blueprint. By trying to claim way too much, you've literally handed them a map that shows every single part of your invention. You've pointed a giant flashing arrow at the exact piece they need to change to get away with it. Oh, and it gets worse. You know, there's this massive hidden cost we haven't even talked about yet: time. A big, complex patent claim like that, it can take, on average, 18 to 24 months just to be examined. In the startup world, that is an absolute lifetime. So while you're stuck in limbo waiting, your competitors are out there launching, grabbing your customers, and basically eating your lunch. Okay, so if the giant shield approach is broken, what's the answer? Well, it's something that feels totally counterintuitive at first. It's about embracing the power of small claims, the power of being narrow. I know, it feels wrong, but being super, super precise, that's where the real strength lies. And this brings us to the hero of our story today, the partial claim. So what is it? Instead of trying to protect your whole product, you protect only the single, core part of it, the one indispensable piece that a competitor absolutely cannot design around or remove or change without completely destroying the whole idea. Here's a great way to think about it. With a broad patent, it's like you're trying to guard the entire house, every window, every door. But with a partial claim, you're just guarding the lock on the front door. And you know what? If you own the patent on that specific lock, nobody's getting in. I mean, the difference is just night and day when you look at it. The broad claim, that's your fragile shield. It tries to cover everything, but it's slow to get approved and, as we've seen, pretty easy to dodge. The partial claim, though, that's like a strong tower. It covers the core, it's way faster to get approved, and it is incredibly hard for a competitor to get around. Okay, so what is this core we keep talking about? The thing you really need to protect? Well, let's strip away all the noise. First off, it's not the user interface. That can be changed in a weekend. And it's not your whole feature list either, because a copycat can just pick one off the list and remove it. No, it's the magic. You know, it's the unique logic, that clever algorithm, the specific secret sauce process that actually makes your product work. That is the core. That's the part they can't take away without their whole copycat product just falling apart. All right, you ready for the advanced move? This is where we stop playing defense and start playing offense. You need to start thinking exactly like your competitor. The goal is to find all the workarounds before they do, and then you block all their escape routes. So how do you do that? You have to ask yourself some really tough questions. Look at your own invention and ask, what component is the easiest to swap out? Could any of these steps be reordered? What part here seems kind of optional? You see, this whole exercise is about finding the weak spots in your own invention so you can patch them up with these strong, narrow, partial claims. Look, the goal here isn't to be 100% invincible. It's to make copying you really, really hard. Let's be honest, copycats are lazy. They're looking for an easy win. So by closing off all the easy paths, you force them to make a choice. Either risk a messy lawsuit or go to the actual hard work of innovating for themselves. And you know what? Most of them will just move on to an easier target. And when you start thinking this way, you're doing so much more than just filing a patent. You're building a truly defensible moat around your business. And it's a moat that protects the core principle of your invention, not just the first product you happen to launch. So this is the big strategic shift right here in a nutshell. We're moving from just protecting a single product to protecting the inventive principle itself. We're going from defending one version of your idea to securing the entire growth path for the future. You're fundamentally shifting from playing defense to playing offense. And here's why this is so huge and why it goes way beyond just legal protection. The next time you walk an investor through this kind of strategy, you're not just waving around a patent certificate. You're actually proving to them that your competitive edge is real, that it's deeply thought out, and, this is the most important part, that it's actually enforceable. So let's land the plane here. As a founder, deep down, you know what the magic is. You know what makes your invention truly special. So the only real question left to ask yourself is this: are you absolutely sure that that's the one thing you're actually protecting?